Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today we will learn about the 6 thinking hats proposed by Edward de Bono. First of all, let's go over some ayah from the Quran to see what Quran says about thinking. Verily, in this is indeed a sign for people who think. Surah Nahl. Do they not think deeply in their own selves, about themselves, how Allah created them from nothing, and similarly He will resurrect them, Surah Rum, so that their hearts and minds may thus use reason, Surah Hajj. In all this there are messages, signs indeed for people who use their reason, Surah Baqarah. Those who remember Allah always and in prayers, standing, sitting and lying down on their sides, and think deeply about the creation of the heavens and the earth. Surah Al Imran. So relate the stories, perhaps they may reflect. Surah Araf. So we can see that Quran constantly tells us to think about the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and reflect upon the history that we learn about. And this will help us to move forward and to learn new things. Now, first question from you all is, can thinking be taught? Yes, it can be taught. So that is why we are learning about the 6 thinking hats. There are 5 basic kinds of thinking. Number 1 is traditional adversarial thinking, linear thinking, lateral thinking, critical thinking, and parallel thinking. In adversarial thinking, we have different points of view, and we try to persuade the other person to start thinking like us. So we are against one another, and in our conversation with someone who has a different opinion, we constantly are on the other side of the fence, and we verbally have a sort of quarrel, and we keep on talking about our point of view, and the other person keeps justifying and providing evidences about his or her opinion, and we are on opposite sides, and we constantly talk in this way. So this is the traditional adversarial thinking. The next is the linear thinking, in which we believe that everything happens according to a systematic order, and first this thing happens and then that thing will happen, and as a consequence that will happen, and this will go on. So every problem can be solved like this with a systematic, stepwise process. This kind of thinking is the linear thinking. Then what is lateral thinking? Lateral thinking is about reasoning that is not immediately obvious. Ideas may not be obtainable by using only traditional step-by-step logic. So there has to be other ways of solving the problems. There will be, and there are ways to go across a hurdle, overcome a hurdle, go around the wall, and reach our destination. So rather than going linear, and if there is a hurdle in front of us and we stop and think what to do, we can go around the hurdle, we can jump over the hurdle. So there are other ways of solving or removing the hurdle from our path. Techniques that apply lateral thinking to problems are characterized by the shifting of thinking patterns away from predictable thinking to new or unexpected ideas. So thinking outside the box, not in the normal way in which we have put limits around us. So maybe we should try to think out of the box. Yes, that is what lateral thinking is all about. Try to find a link between these two pictures. Then you will come up with several links between these two pictures. You will start thinking outside the box. You will be applying lateral thinking. Then the next is the critical thinking skills, and critical thinking is extremely important to be successful in life. In critical thinking, you look at the problem or the situation and you try to infer what is the problem, or you analyze the situation and you try to interpret what is the problem, what is the hindrance, what are the good things, what are the poor things. And then when you are applying critical thinking, you self-regulate yourself. Nobody is controlling you. You think in your own way. You regulate your thinking. You cognitively look at your thinking process. Then you explain what the problem is, what you have understood, what is your analysis, interpretation, and inference. You explain for yourself and for others who are participating in the solution of the problem or who are with you looking at the situation. Finally, you evaluate which option, which solution would be the best solution for the problem, or which option should be taken up. So you evaluate and decide what to do. So this is what is critical thinking. We have looked at the 4 basic thinking styles or thinking skills. That's all for today. We will meet again with the same topic to complete all the 6 thinking hats. We have not yet started thinking hats. So in our next segment, we will start thinking hats. Jazakallah. See you next time. Allah Hafiz.